Okay, what's happening, people? Jono here from Fitness Education Online. Welcome to our channel if it's your first time on here. And it's actually a specific series. If you've landed on this video here, I've got a specific series which is all about social media marketing tips for fitness professionals. What I've done is I've gone and sought out the 10 best social media marketing professionals, specifically for fitness professionals in the world, and they're going to give you their top 3 tips in less than 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to shoot over and give them a bit of an introduction in a second. Just before I do that, let me tell you that we've also got another series which is business tips in general. So this one here is all social media marketing. We've got another one which is business based. Now, I've interviewed the same people on both of them because they're very closely related, obviously. So it's the same introduction for both. So if you get to the introduction, you're like, well, hold on, haven't I heard this exact same introduction before? Yes, it has. I've just used the same introduction. You could call it, I don't know whether it's lazy on my behalf or it's just smart or time efficient on my behalf. I like to call it smart and time efficient. You can call it what you want. But anyway, let me introduce this week's guest. What's happening, people? Jono here from Fitness Education Online. Super excited to get into this week's episode of how to get more clients for your personal training business. I've got a fellow Aussie on this week, Jimmy Halley. Now, Jimmy is an expert when it comes to Facebook ads. But in saying that, he's also a personal trainer. He's run his own boot camp. He's run his own fitness facility. And now he's focusing on the Facebook ad side of things. So the reason why his insight is so valuable is because, you'll get a lot of people that are Facebook ad experts. That's great. But if they don't know the fitness industry, are they going to be the best person to give you advice for their Facebook ads? Jimmy Halley knows both of them, so you're in for a treat. Just before we get into it, usual deal, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe and join our community Facebook group. We've got the largest Facebook group in the world for fitness professionals. We want you to be a part of it. Links down in the description, so join. Anyway, let's hear it from Jimmy.
Cool. So the first sales tip for all PTs, well, regardless if you're a personal trainer or any industry, all these sales things apply. So you learn these now and you'll always be able to get new clients. So number one is have the belief in what you're doing. So belief and certainty is the utmost important thing. You need to have that before what you're doing. So if you're unsure about the product or service that you're selling, or you don't believe that it is the best thing for that person, before you even pick up the phone or before you walk into that sales consultation, you need to find that belief. And how you find that belief is you need to, this is what I recommend, is go back over past client testimonials. And then you look at it and you're like, yeah, actually, I helped Sally, I helped Mary, I helped Ben, I helped David, I helped these people get this results. And then you get reminded of the benefits and you're like, wow, this person is another Sally, is another David. So I need to be able to be my best self in here so I can actually help that person make the best decision that's in their best interest, which is to begin a new health and fitness journey to improve their life. So that's number one, is to have the belief and the certainty in the product and service that you're selling, but also the belief and certainty that this is the right thing for them, right? So that's part one of that. But the second part is, if this is in particular to phone sales. So if you're generating leads with some paid advertising or any sort of form of getting leads, you need to, number one, is create the environment for success for sales. And that means time blocking out time, part one. So you block out your time and make sure that whatever happens in that time is nothing but sales activity. Put the blinkers on. Get into a room. Don't do it on the gym floor. Don't do it somewhere where people can interrupt you or where you're on Facebook, whatever. Close down all the tabs, close down all the notifications, and you adjust revenue generating activities. So sales phone calls, sales text messages, and emails. That is it. No Facebooking or texting friends or anything. And part of that environment for success is I would highly recommend that you do something like get the belief by looking at testimonials, or if you have a pump up song that really gets you in a good positive state, listen to that. Some people like doing push-ups, roundhouse kicks, whatever you need to do to get your energy up first. Then make sure you have hands-free stuff on your phone. Don't be holding your phone. Don't be on speakerphone. Have hands-free. And remove the chair. You want to stand up. More energy comes out through your voice because people can't see you, so you need to be able to project that energy through your tone. And you've got your hands now, and your hands then help you free. And you need to have a pen and paper. So you've got the energy, you've been in a good state, you've got no distractions, you've got no chair, so you're standing up, hands free. Now you've got a pen and paper. You want to be able to write down key important stuff that these people tell you. So then, like their name, their age, like if they or their goals, the things that they've been holding them back, their problems, their fears, all this stuff. So then you can help relay that message back to them so they understand that you are actually listening to them. Cool. So point 2 for sales is have a script. So I've even wrote notes here again for this one. So I've written notes to make sure that you have a process and a flow that you follow so it's predictable. And when people think script, they think they've got to read it word for word. And when starting out, that is yes, you do need to read it word for word, because how else are you going to know what to say? But the whole idea is to be able to get to the point where the script is now part of your DNA. And I still use a script to this day, no matter what it is. If I'm selling services for our digital marketing agency or for anything else, still have a script up, but I use it more now as a flow. I'm not reading it as word for word because I've got the big sections. You'll have key sections, which I'll talk about in a minute. So if the conversation does go off on a tangent, I can at least see what section I'm up to. Then I can ask a question to bring it back into that flow to help the sales conversation flow in the right direction it needs to go down the right path. So when you have a script, and I'm going to go over some of the parts of it, but the opening part of the script and is probably the most important, because if you can't get past the open, then you can't get through the rest of the conversation to be able to get to the point where you're either asking them to book an appointment or asking them to pay for the services over the phone. So the open, I'll give you a little hack of what works for me and what I suggest for my clients at the agency when we're training up their sales teams and with their gyms is the open is literally like 20, 30 seconds. And this is usually how it goes. So it goes ring, 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 they answer and they go, hello. And then you immediately respond with their name, like as if you know them. So they say their name's David. So you go, ring, 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 ring. They go, hello. And I go, David, how are you, mate? It's Jimmy here from Jimmy's Boot Camp. How's it going? And then he's like, oh, yeah, good. And then you go into, hey, mate, look, I've just, the purpose for the call is I've just got your application for our 28-day fitness kickstart program that's happening at the studio here down in Bondi. But, and then they might go, oh, yeah, yeah. And you say, I just saw that on Facebook or something. And then you're like, yeah, well, that's perfect, mate. Look, I've only got 2 minutes to chat, but I just wanted to find out a little bit more about you and what you wanted to get out of the program, just so I could see if this is even going to be the right thing for you, if that's cool. Boom. So that's it. I kind of butchered it a little bit because I was trying to explain what I was doing, but that's the intro. And if you can get to that part where, hey, you kind of like, hey, this is me. This is where I'm from. The purpose of the call is because of however you got their phone number. So then they're like, oh, okay, right, now I can put I know what's going on here. And then you want to sort of back it off by saying, hey, look, and to like say that you're kind of implying that you're busy. You say, I've only got 2 minutes to chat. So you're not going to be on the phone with them for like 6 hours. So they're like, okay, so that disarms them a little bit. Even if you are on the phone for 15 minutes, it's okay. But at least you've set the tone that like you're going to be quick. So you've only got a couple of minutes to chat, but I thought I'd give you a buzz while I've got a few spare minutes up my sleeve, because what that is doing is that's saying that you're super busy and you're in high demand as well, subconsciously. And then when you say, I just want to find out a little bit more about you and what you want to get out of the program, just so I can see if this is going to be the right thing for you. So you're all putting it in their best interest, not like, hey, I'm trying to sell you and see, do you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, I want to see if it's, and that's it. And so that, if you can get through the open, now there's 5 sort of core parts. There's probably more if you want to break it down, but looking big picture of a flow of a script, you've got your intro, which I just gave to you pretty much word for word right there. Then you move straight into information gathering. And so information gathering is asking them questions. What are your goals? How long have you been trying to achieve those goals? Why is that important to you? How does it make you feel being the way that you are? How do you think you'll feel when you get your goals? What do you do for work? What's your nutrition like? How does it make you feel eating like that? So asking all these questions, why is that important? How does it make you feel? Those 2 statements right there are your best friend when you're asking questions. Then the third part is the gap. So you establish the gap. Hey, I've got a great idea of where you are today, and I've got a really crystal clear picture of your goal of where you want to get to. But you can see there's a really big gap between the two. And you want them to agree so they understand there's going to be a lot of hard work. And just think of like a big, there's a bridge, and the bridge is your program, right? And then then you go into like, cool, well, the demo of the program, telling them a little bit about what the program's all about. I'll give you permission, maximum 60 seconds to talk about that. That's it. 10 minutes of the call, if we've got a 15-minute call, 10 minutes of it is on the info gathering. The rest is broken up into these other sections. So point number 3, now to close out, because Jono cut me off, we've got a 5-minute timer for these sections, which is great. But to finish the flow of the script, you've got intro, you've got info gather, which is the meat of it, 10 minutes of the call predominantly. Then you've got the gap, establishing the gap between where they are and where they want to get to. Demo, the features of the program. You've got 60 seconds to talk about that, but the features, but the benefits, how it's going to help that person with what they said to you earlier. And lastly is the close. And there's 2 closes. Hey, do you want to come in for an appointment? Or hey, do you want to pay me money? So that's it in a nutshell. You wouldn't say it like that, but that's it in a nutshell. Now, the last final sales tip that I have here is practice. You are not going to get good at sales your first go. It's like you do not lose weight eating one healthy meal. You're not going to become a sales god, a sales weapon in 1 or 2 sales appointments. And the quicker that you can practice, the better you'll get. Just like with anything, it's like building a muscle. And the way that I recommend you practice is pull up your script and go through it and have an out loud conversation with yourself, like as if you're talking to an imaginary prospect, and make up who they are. Maybe you can write down like some things about them before the call, so they can tell you some objections or some of their goals, some of their pains, their frustrations they've had. And that way you can practice and get your rusty one out in the morning before you actually jump on the phone or go into a conversation with somebody face to face. So you get all the nerves and jitters out and stuff like that first. So that's really just like do the reps, hammer it, hammer it, hammer it. So that's one way to do it. Practice it out loud, or even look in the mirror while you do it, because you can see your facial expressions and you can see if you look like you're dead as a doornail and like boring, or you can see if you're animated and you're expressing yourself and you're bringing your voice down for other sections, or you're like, you know what I mean? Like bringing up in excited sections. So that way you can really see visually how you sound at the same time, if that makes sense. Another good way is to practice with a colleague, a friend, partner, and actually get them to pretend and role play. So you role play, you can either role play over the phone, you can do it over Zoom or face to face, whichever way, and you have turns. Hey, you're going to do the script and I'm going to be the potential client, and then you swap over and vice versa. And those are the best ways, hands down, to practice. And thirdly, if you've got an opportunity to record your phone calls, so you can go back and review them and listen to them, and you can personally critique them yourself, that is so much gold right there. If that's probably the best tip out of all of them, because even if you don't really have a solid script or whatever, you will create a solid script over time by listening to yourself and say, oh, that bit sucks. That bit I rushed that bit. I forgot something here. And that is how it's like watching the game tape of like a sports team. So they go back and the coach reviews it. You're your own coach. Go and review your stuff. So to go over the whole 3 tips I have here on sales. Number 1 is have belief and conviction in yourself and create an environment for success. Number 2 is have a script. Doesn't matter where you get it from or how you devise it, but get a script. Some people have better ones than others, but get a script, okay? Find somebody in the industry that's using one successfully and model it. You know, right? Don't have to copy it word for word, but model it. Make it your own. Make it sound like you. Then lastly, do the reps. Practice, practice, practice. And that is my top 3 tips for being a sales weapon in the fitness game.
All right, you can tell that guy knows a thing or two about the advertising side of things, right? Anyways, what I recommend doing is following Jimmy on social media, getting his tips, his strategies. So, Jimmy, where do we find out more about you?
Real simple, go to iwantgymleads.com. That's iwantgymleads.com. You can go over there. You can go see all the work that we've done with our clients. There's like about 10 or so videos with a whole bunch of other client case studies and stuff that you can go check out over there. That's for our done-for-you marketing services. So iwantgymleads.com, or you can go check us out on social media. Just my name, Jimmy Halley.
Awesome. I want gym leads, J-I-M leads, is it? Gym leads? Or is it?
Gym, like for a gym where you work out. So iwantgym leads.com.
So that's it for today's episode. I would love to invite you into the Fitness Education Online community Facebook group if you're not in there already. It's a free Facebook group. There's thousands of trainers in there. We all share tips and ideas. Everyone's super supportive. And that's really what we do at Fitness Education Online. So I'll see you in there.